Hey gang, do you like digging through boxes of old comic books? Well, it's a video for you because I'm about to go through this box. I'm going to be grading these books for sale on eBay, and I have absolutely no idea what is in here. So, if you like that joy of discovery as much as I do, that thrill of the hunt when it comes to going through old comic books, well, stick around. We're going to have some fun. Hey there, Bubby. Welcome to Shanghala. My name is Duke, and this is another unboxing video. I'm going to be going through this box of comic books, grading them up for sale on the eBay, and by gory, I think we're going to have a good time. Just a disclaimer right up front. You've probably heard this before if you've seen any of these videos. These are not my books. I'm grading them for sale on eBay for the company that I work for. The seller name is .com Comics. You can go to .comcomics.com on the web or sellmycomicbooks.com. You may want to go to sellmycomicbooks.com /mystery. If you're not into auctions, eBay auctions, maybe in like one of our $30 mystery boxes. Those are always fun. But anyway, be that as it may, again, these books are going to be on eBay probably within a week or two. And just to set your expectations, there shouldn't be any junk in this box. But what we have in here is going to be a lot of stuff like this probably. And here we've got Amazing Spider-Man 110. So let's get right to it. Let's have some fun looking at old comic books. And please do leave a comment below if you've got anything to say about any of these books. It's Fantastic Four 58, Fantastic Four 55. That one sells real well because of the Silver Surfer cover. Tomb of Dracula number 6. Feels like there's two books in here. There's number 7. This was really a great series. I would like to put this run together myself, but it's kind of a hard run to complete just because it wasn't super highly sought after by even by this point in the early 70s, the market was really kind of coalescing into the hardcore superhero geek. And so these books weren't really saved by that kind of collector. They were more purchased by the few casual comic book fans that remained. And by casual fan, what I mean is the person who treated comic books as they were initially intended to be treated, as a disposable consumer item, something that you would buy, read, maybe you hang on to it for a little while, probably you don't, and it ends up getting thrown away. You don't think any more of saving it than you would the Sunday paper. In so much as any of you even know what a Sunday paper is anymore, depending on your age. And so the books tended to, books like that were purchased by the casual reader, who didn't, collect or hang on to or save them. They tended to be treated with a lot more love, by which I mean a lot more handling, and they were just kind of read to death and rolled up and stuck in back pockets. And, the kids did not save the books for years and years. And so you tend to find them in lower grade. And Tomb of Dracula is one of those series very much like that. There's number 9. And for Tomb of Dracula early issues, these look like they are some pretty, what I would call, again, for Tomb of Dracula high grade. These look like they're going to be 7, 7.5s, 8s maybe. I won't know for sure until I get them out of the bags and really take a look at them. But, usually I get these and they're kind of beat to hell. These look like they're really good grades. But as I started to say at the beginning, there's Blade, I think. I forget what issue Blade first appeared in, but and probably if we've got it in here, or if we had it in this collection, it was sent to CGC, we probably won't see it. But anyway, as I was saying, Tomb of Dracula can be hard to put together, and hard to put together for a reasonable price, because these books will probably go for fairly high value, $30, $40 each. Maybe $20 each, depending on who happens to come along during the 5 days these are live. But that's a nice cover. But they're out there, but finding them in nice condition can be hard and expensive. There's Amazing Spider-Man 128 and 127. It looks like this next batch is going to be maybe a little run of Spider-Man. We've seen this one in a recent unboxing, The Death of the Kangaroo. And the first appearance of, I don't know if that's the first appearance or not, Man-Wolf. There's Power Man, or just Luke Cage Hero for Hire. The Hulk. That one does pretty well because of the Hulk appearance. 118. These bags are sticking together. You get that a lot. 117. So you got to kind of be careful you don't bend a spine trying to pry these books apart. 116, 115. Aunt May with a gun. Oh no. What do we got here upside down? Ooh, look at that. Amazing Adventures number 16. Here's the Beast when he first got his form. Not in this issue. I think it was, what issue was it? 12, 13, 14? I forget the exact issue number. And it took a couple of issues for them to make him blue. Initially he was gray, and then they decided that, well, you know what? The gray just kind of looks like mud, printed and colored on the newsprint. And even though that's more realistic and the color he would actually be, we're going to color him blue just to make it a little more distinctive and easy to see. Much the same way that back during the Silver and Bronze Age, you had a character like Superman or Batman with dark hair, and the highlights would be blue. Not that they actually had blue hair, but that's how you did kind of black hair, and the highlights. So I sort of take objection to the X-Men movies that have had the Beast being blue, because in reality, he would not be blue, he'd be gray. That's just a comic book trope, making him blue. And they often make so many changes from the comic book character for the movies. That's something they kept that for my money, they really could have changed. They could have made him gray in the movies, because in the movies, as blue fur, he just looks silly. And it seems like everybody in the X-Men movies is blue. So that's the origin of the Beast. Here's just a random backing board for no apparent reason. It's Captain America fighting the 50s Cap. 157. 158. Again, being fairly careful I don't bend any spine because these bags are sticking together. 159. 160. Call him Solar. 161. Dr. Faustus, is that his first appearance? I don't know. I'd have to look it up. 162. 163. 164. Gotta love her costume, or lack thereof. 166. 167. And keep in mind, the Falcon is not actually flying yet. He doesn't have his wings. That would happen much later. It took a long time before they got the idea to, hey, let's make the Falcon actually fly. So I think he's flying here with the aid of a rocket pack or something. 168. 169. The Tumbler. And you'll notice that this character is named, this villain is named the Phoenix. And so Marvel would later make arguably much better use of that character name. Here's some Avengers. 119, the Red Ghost. 118, Dormammu. Doctor Strange. Is this one bag with two books? I think it is. 117. 116, some Silver Surfer. 115. This is a kind of an overlooked era of the Avengers. You don't really find as much love for it, and of course everybody collects either in the originals or in trade paperback the Silver Age issues. And these kind of early Bronze Age books just don't get a lot of love, because it's a little bit later when George Perez comes along that the Avengers really start to take off again. Some Black Widow action. More Black Widow. Magneto. And this is kind of before the X-Men got their reboot. Hawkeye. Hawkeye's cutting out. 108. So have you ever read this era of Avengers comics? What do you think of them? Let me know in the comments below. What is your opinion of this era, this early Bronze Age run of Avengers books? Did you read them when they were new? Have you read them since as back issues? The next I'm going to pull out, we had an oversized book in this box, which is kind of stuck in the side. And that's what it is. First appearance of the New Mutants in Marvel graphic novel number 4. And of course the big question is, and what the heck, I might as well do it while you're here looking. Friggin' bag's all stuck. There we go. Go find out what printing this is. Trying to be careful, it's just barely. There we go. And that looks like it is a first printing. Hoorah! Hoorah! So there they are. First appearance of all the New Mutants. All right, back to the books. This next stack is all in bags and boards. There is the newsstand edition of the Wedding Annual with the Heroes cover. Here is the direct sales edition with the Friends and Family. So do you have both of those? Do you have either one? Here's some X-Men. This is a Jim Steranko cover. This is during the reprint era of the X-Men. And I've never really understood, nor have I been able to find anybody who can explain this to me, because after issue 66, so starting with 67, X-Men went into reprints. And it's like, why did Marvel do that? When they didn't do that with any other book that wasn't selling well, they would have just canceled it. And so why did Marvel decide to, it wasn't selling well enough, so they cut costs by reprinting old stories. Why not try something new? And there's nothing else that I can think of that they canceled and sent it into reprints. Why did they not try something new? Why did they do the reprints for so long? Did it really sell well enough as a reprint book? And so I just don't know why. I don't know why. But it was several years that it was in reprints before 1975 when they came up with the new X-Men. So there's 136. There's the famous Days of Future Past, very iconic cover. 141. 222. Here's Iron Man 219, the first appearance of the Ghost. That one shot up when it was rumored the Ghost was going to appear in the Ant-Man movie. It turned out to be same power set, same name, but gender swapped and a radically different character. G.I. Joe number 1. That book does surprisingly well. This one's got a few ticks I can see already, so it's not super high grade, but that will still do pretty well. The Dazzler. This is Marvel's first book that was on sale only in the direct market, only in comic book shops. You could not find this on the newsstand, which in, I think, what is this, 1980? That was kind of a big deal and really a big test. And this book had really high sales, and so it doesn't really go for a lot. It's starting to pick up and starting to go for more. Is this a price variant? I'll have to check. I don't think it is, but it is an early direct sales copy, though. But anyway, what was I saying about the Dazzler? Anyway, I guess I finished that thought. Because because I can't remember what I was saying. We'll just pretend I finished the thought. There's the classic Hellfire Club storyline. 129. This must have been sold in a secondhand shop or something, because somebody has inked out the price. There's Dazzler. 131, White Queen. Not looking anything like the sex pot she's made out of today. 132. Can't remember, was it 131 or 132, 133? Which issue was mentioned in the first series of Stranger Things? One of the kids says to the other one, I've got your X-Men 132. I think it might have been 132. But this is right about the period when the book really started to take off. It's funny. It was a slow burn. We think about it being like just this huge thing from the moment of Giant Size X-Men #1 and X-Men 94, but it really was kind of a slow burn, and the book stayed in bi-monthly status for quite a while before it became a monthly book again. But it was right about at this period, about the time it was getting recognition from the Eagle Awards, which was a British fan award, that the sales they went through the roof. And never looked back. 138. Jean Grey is dead. Cyclops is sad. 139. We've seen that one recently. Wendigo. So that's a good book. I remember that storyline from when I was a kid. There's a second part of that Days of Future Past. That'd be a great book. The Days of Future Man. Second part of Days of Future Past. And if you didn't know, that is the first book that was officially the Uncanny X-Men. Before that, it had appeared on the cover for a while, but it wasn't until this book where officially in the indicia it began to be called the Uncanny X-Men. This has got some water damage. I can feel that right there. 241 with the Punisher. That's a very popular cover. Some more Spider-Mans again. 170 and 201 with the Punisher. All right, this next stack looks like we're going to have some Silver Age DC here. Let's see what we've got. That is Justice League of America #22. So that is a JLA JSA team up. Action Comics 340, that is the first appearance of the Parasite, written by Jim Shooter. Young, still young at this point. He probably would have been, 15, 16? He started at 14 or 15. So, first appearance of the Parasite, that's cool. Oh, wow. Now, this is 35 cents. This would have been, probably, 78, 79, but the Beatles' Yellow Submarine, is that an adaptation of the movie? Let's take a look here. It is, it says copyright 68, so this might be copyright 1968 by King Features, so this might be reprinted from something. This book itself, though, well, maybe it is a 68, and because it's so thick, that's why it was 35 cents. Normally 35 cents, I think of, that's the kind of 1977, 78. This isn't in great condition, but it is the Beatles. Being all Yellow Submarine and fighting blue meanies. Wonder Woman teamed up with Wonder Girl and Wonder Tot, which were actually not separate characters. Through the magic of Amazonian science, she was able to appear and team up with herself as a girl and as a baby. What does that say? Harold Wildstein? Well, Harold Wildstein stamped his name on this book. Not cool, Harold Wildstein. 144. Wonder Girl having to choose between Merboy and Birdboy. How'd you like that? How'd you like to be in that romantic triangle? Do I want my boyfriend to be a bird or a fish? There's a Batgirl. 369 of Detective Comics. 370. 366. See, here around the time of the Batman TV show, they minimized the Detective Comics logo so they could kind of play up the Batman logo. And his newest archvillain, Dr. Zinzin Tinsin? How do you say it? How do you pronounce that? 349, Blockbuster, and that's a Joe Kubert cover. Look at that, I knew before I even saw that. You don't see very many Joe Kubert renditions of Batman. I always thought this was a weird cover, but anyway. Love the Go-Go checks, though. Always did love me my DC Go-Go checks. This is kind of a good cover. Death knocks 3 times, and that's Batman 180. Batman 169, the Penguin. Some color fading here, unfortunately. And we're back to X-Men. X-Men number 38. Fighting the Blob. Ooh, Daredevil King Size Special number 1. You'll usually see that just listed as Daredevil Annual. Ooh, there's an early Journey into Mystery featuring the Thor. Early enough that, Thor hasn't even really sort of dominated the logo. It's still Journey into Mystery, as it would be for a while. But after a time, Journey into Mystery would be like really small, and then it would be Thor. But that's fairly early. Amazing Spider-Man 54. 55. That one's not very high grade. I'll probably put that in a lot. It's got some water damage too. I don't think that's going to do well as a single. Now, do you know what is special about this book? Amazing Spider-Man 59. I'll give you a hint. It's on the right-hand side of the cover. Mary Jane. Well, it's not the first appearance of Mary Jane, but it is her first appearance on a comic book cover. So that's, I don't know if, how important it is, but it is, some people will pay more for it because of that. The first appearance of Mary Jane Watson on a comic book cover. And look at this, Captain Atom. He's at 87. Double Danger with the Fiery Icer. Huh. That's some Ditko action. Is there any Blue Beetle in the back? Nope. Who is this? That is Jim Aparo. That is some really classic, nice Jim Aparo art. And it's Nightshade. I think we were talking about Nightshade. Was it earlier in this video or the last video? I forget. I'm filming a bunch of these back to back. That is Charlton's Nightshade. And there's that doesn't look like, doesn't look entirely like Ditko. It looks like Ditko inked by somebody else. Probably, yeah, Rocky Mascherano. Sounds like a wrestler. One of those, old school wrestlers. This next book, as I grab this pack, this is something you don't see every day. Gasp, from the American Comics Group, number 4. ACG was a kind of a sister company to DC Comics. It was actually run by Harry Donenfeld, who was the owner of DC Comics. I believe it was his son, Irwin, who ran ACG. Or maybe it was his son-in-law, somebody else. I forget. But anyway, I don't often see Gasp. Here's Tell It to the Marines. That's cool. Although Super Comics, it's most likely a reprint of earlier material. That's pretty much what Super Comics did. That looks very kind of Will Eisnerish. A little bit. Kind of, sort of. Flash Gordon, number 1. King Comics, the we think of a comic strip syndicator. For a short time there in the 60s, they were actually publishing comic books. So there is Flash Gordon #1, and I think is that Alex Raymond art? Al Williamson, I'm sorry, Al Williamson. That's what I meant to say anyway. And there's another JLA JSA team up, Justice League #30, Justice League #33, 25. Always thought this was a weird cover because it's not really clear what's going on here or why Flash doesn't really have a body. It's not clear that they're trying to pull him out of a different dimension or where he's being trapped. And it's also kind of a weird look for Superman. That wasn't really kind of on model for Superman at the time. It's an early JLA JSA team up, 37. I think this might be the first Silver Age appearance of Mr. Terrific. Justice League #13. Not great condition, but like I said, I never know you're gonna find in one of these boxes, and it's just always a little bit of everything. It's just so much fun. So Archie's Madhouse Annual. Huh. Star Trek. Now, what issue number is this? That looks like it could be an early issue number. Let's take it out and see. It's not in the greatest condition, but it is #2. So that is Gold Key Star Trek #2. Owned by somebody named Simpson. Goddamn kids, writing their names on their books. What? Were they always so afraid somebody was going to steal their book? Here's another Star Trek. Some more late Silver, early Bronze Age Star Treks. It's always kind of interesting to try and figure out, the photos that they used. Was it a publicity photo? Was it a still from one of the actual shows? And I don't know. I've never seen anywhere. Now, that's obviously, I think, taken from the Pon farr episode of Star Trek. I'm pretty sure. But I've never seen like a complete list somewhere where somebody has maybe gone through and proven which episode the photos on these books were taken from, or were they like, I assume this is just a publicity photo that was used. Is this from an episode, or was that just a publicity shot? I don't know. But again, see, this one is taken from the same episode. See how Spock is wearing that same kind of knit scarf around his waist? And I think that is the Pon farr episode, the one where he gets like, really, really horny. Really needs to get his Vulcan junk set to action. And these are obviously two entirely different stories. Neither one is based on the episode, but it just uses stills from that episode. Or I presume from that episode. Plastic Man #1. So, Plastic Man was originally a Quality Comics character. Quality Comics kind of folded their tent in 1954, 5, 6, I think, 4. And DC bought them out and continued a couple of books, including GI Combat and Blackhawk. Didn't continue Plastic Man because although Plastic Man, if I recall correctly, was still being published at that point, it had long since gone into reprints. Jack Cole had died, a sad story. He actually took his own life. So the book was still being published, but was in reprints, and DC just didn't bother to keep it going. And I think I've heard the story that the reason they introduced Elongated Man is that Julius Schwartz, somewhere he's quoted as saying he didn't know they owned Plastic Man. Otherwise, he might have done that or come up with a different character. But anyway, This is 1966, and by 1966, even though it had had rights to Plastic Man for, a decade anyway, they finally decided to publish a Plastic Man comic. And kind of retroactively, when the fans were like, well, how is Plastic Man still around? It's been 10 years. And so they decided that this is the son of the original Plastic Man. And you'll sometimes see this listed as first appearance of Plastic Man, and it's not, unless you consider that it's the first appearance of Plastic Man Jr., for lack of a better phrase. But that was something that was, again, decided retroactively and then was later undecided. So this series only lasted 10 issues, though. So Plastic Man, by then, had sort of lost his allure with the buying public, I guess. In the 70s, they tried it again. He's been revived a few times. Probably his greatest success was as a Saturday morning cartoon show. DC's just never been able to capture that old magic with Plastic Man. As part of the famous Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams run on Green Lantern, Green Arrow. Not in particularly high grade. Back to Fantastic Four, 57. Detective Comics, 389. We're getting really random now. It's an anniversary issue of Detective, 387. Batman number 211. 216. Number 217. This book right here sells for a lot. And if you're not familiar with this book, this is based on the Paul is Dead conspiracy theory of the Beatles. So if you're not familiar, for a long time there was this belief, kind of perpetuated in fan circles, that Paul McCartney had died in a car crash and had been replaced with a look-alike. And so that sort of took on a life of its own. And so this book is sort of based on that. This is a kind of a Beatles-looking band that is not the Beatles, and I don't know if I know what the name of the band actually is. And so they based the story on that same conspiracy theory that one of these band members has actually died and been replaced by a look-alike to sort of not hurt the sales or the popularity with the fans. I don't see anything right away that tells me what the band's name was. And it even makes use of some of the same clues. For example, one of the clues on the Sgt. Pepper album that was in one of the covers, Paul is facing backwards and the other three are facing forwards, and that was a clue that Paul was actually dead. 189 Batman. Is this the first Silver Age Scarecrow? I think it might be. It's pretty low grade and got some writing on it. There's an early Spider-Man, a Ditko Spider-Man, number 29. And I think this is the last little stack out of this box. Probably going to finish off with some Spider-Mans. What do we got here? 168. 175, Punisher and Hitman. 177. 180. 181. 184, promoting the TV show, and that's it. That is it. Nothing else there. So, I hope you had fun looking through those books with me. If you have any comments on what you saw, or you want to take me to task on anything that I had to say, by all means, do so in the comments below. Please do like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Sharing is the best thing you can do. If you know of anybody who's a fan of comic books, share this video with them. Let them know it's something they might like as well. This channel, still trying to build this channel up. And anyway, until the next video, More Drew says goodbye, good luck, and please do be good to each other.